It's quite early, about 8 o'clock, quite a cold night. Anyway, just let's have a look at this block of woodland. We'll have to ignore the aeroplane. Let's have a wander through. There's an oak there. It's quite tall, but it's got a fork up there. And there's another oak here. So it looks like the oaks were planted in little groups. There's a better one, but it needs a thin. Those crowns need to get a bit bigger. This one here got a bit of a bend in it. And we've got a red cedar here. It's quite nice. And a beech. It's just ready for a thin. It's had a thin before. Here's a stump, quite an old one. Just looking through. You've got a red cedar and a Norway spruce. It's all tall enough. There's quite a largish Norway. And there's a bit of a scabby oak behind it. So you have to do quite a fine selecting here. You couldn't just go, oh, let's call it oak. Because some of them, like that one, in fact that's an ash. An intruded broadleaf there. It's quite a big crown. And at some point it'll interfere with that western red cedar behind. Although the cedar's crown is above the crown of the ash. I think the ash will extend over it. And that's quite a nice Scots pine. Sort of feature tree there really. And a beech next door to it that's nothing special. And it's got, if we can zoom in, where are we? Some squirrel damage in there. I don't think, there we go. That's squirrel damage. And there's some up there as well. It's all a bit shaky, but you'll have to put up with that. Carrying on through, there's a reasonable oak here. The crown's not very good though. It's got that big limb off the side, which would suffer from wind damage. Another big Norway. The Norway are obviously fairly stable on this site, but they're quite shallow rooted. And a bit of wind snap. This is fairly recent, and it's come off the top there. We had those bad winds a month ago. That's what's it was obviously, looks like it was a forked top, because there's one top there and there's another top here. Whenever you get a fork in the crown like that, it's always bad news. And this is a Norway spruce wind blow, quite old. And the block's fairly similar all the way through. Beech, oak, Norway spruce, western red cedar. I've just come past a Scots pine. So there's the odd Scots pine in here, which is quite nice. Bit of a feature. I think we'll have to... There's another bit of wind blow there. But it looks like it definitely doesn't want to get any taller. So I think a gentle thin and maybe a bit of attention to the drainage. There's another wind blow there and another one and a one there. There's another one. You can see the root plate facing away from us. There's one blown over there. There's one there and there's a couple in the distance. So I think we'll have to pay attention to these ditches. Let me see if I can see it on the camera. See, this is a ditch here and it goes along there. I don't know whether you can see this, but yeah, it wants cleaning out. See, there's a couple of wind blows in the... It's the red cedar mainly, seemingly. Let's have a look at this root plate. See, it's relatively shallow. There's quite a shallow hole here. So the root plate was... This bit here has collapsed that way. But the root plate was only a foot thick. So it's bound to start rocking with quite a tall tree on the end. Bit of beech damage there in the distance. But generally quite a nice block with potential. Look at that red cedar. That's quite nice. There's there's two there and a Norway spruce. You have to be careful when you open those up, considering this root plate. This is quite a heavy soil over chalk, but this particular block does stay quite wet. And we've got some squirrel damage on the bottom of the tree there as well, on a beech. Squirrel damage there. You can see some damage, previous damage on this beech here. Seems to have recovered to some extent. More squirrel damage here. Some people reckon it's hares and rabbits, but it's not, it's squirrels. There's one that's even worse here. So there, and down there, and round, all the way. Nasty. So although beech is alright, and some of them are quite nice, the squirrels, the grey ones, not the red ones, it's the squirrels that are creating a nuisance in here. Damaging the tops and damaging the butts.